Hi everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I wanted to share about naming of the cameras that I'm using on the Raspberry Pi 5 running Raspbian OS version book 12 bookworm. Um, since the Raspberry Pi 5 has dual CSI um, connectors, I can attach two different cameras. And then at the moment, I attached one Raspberry Pi camera module 3 and one Raspberry Pi camera module 2 to this Raspberry Pi 5. The camera module 3 is based on the Sony IMX708 sensor, and the Raspberry Pi camera module 2 is based on the Sony IMX219 sensor. And naming of these took a bit of digging for me to be able to find the right name for them. So I wanted to kind of go through where how I found the names on my system. Um, I'm not sure if this will work for everybody, but I'm just going to share what I have on my system, limited to these two specific cameras. Maybe other cameras will present other difficulties um, in finding their names, but for now, let me walk you through that, um, how I was able to get the names and find them. So here I have my application running, and I, I can select one of the cameras, and I can select the other one by clicking. So this is opening /dev video 0, and this is the name, the friendly name that is presented by the Video for Linux system for that camera, the device, video 0. And the next, when I go, I have two cameras, so it's showing me two of them. Video /dev/video 8 is the other camera, and it just happens to have the same name coming out. So um, they are both named RP1-CFE-CSI-2 underscore CH0. RP1, I believe, stands for root port 1. CFE, I believe, stands for camera front end. And then CSI-2 is the CSI connector. And channel 0, I think, is they're both coming on channel 0 on the CSI-2 connector. I think that's my interpretation of what how that name is made up. But right now we're looking at video /dev video 8, and if I look over here, you can see the pipeline that I'm using, the GStreamer pipeline that I'm using and passing to OpenCV. So OpenCV uses its GStreamer backend to open this camera and bring my application the frames from the camera. So I'm using the lib camera source, and for camera name, I am giving this long name. That is not a friendly, really name. It's a long device kind of name. And it starts with /base/axi/PCIe at 12, what is it, 120,000 /RP1/I²C, and then it ends with some number and then /IMX219 at 10. So when I had two camera module 2s in this, both of the names would end at IMX219, but only this part of it would be different, and only really this digit of it. For video 8, this would be 8, and for video 0, this would be 0. And with that, I think that works on my Raspberry Pi 5, maybe just this one Raspberry Pi 5, but that's something that I noticed. And so, but the rest of the name was the same, IMX219, because both of them were at that point camera module 2s. But as soon as I plugged in a camera module 3, this changes, the ending of the name changes. So if I go to video 0, / dev video 0, you see that it is from the beginning to here is the same. This is still a 0 for this digit, and versus 8 for video 8. But this part of the name is IMX708 at 1A. Okay, so I was curious as to, okay, where is this? What is this referring to? It turns out that this is a leaf under sys firmware device tree. So if we go to sys firmware device tree, we will see there is a base directory there, and that happens to be the same as this base. So this long name is just talking about a folder under the sys/sys firmware device tree. So if you go down to base, in base you will see that then there is an axi directory. So we go to axi and look at that, and you see all kinds of devices here. And one of them happens to be PCIe at 120,000. So this is a PCIe interface. Apparently there's 3 PCIe interfaces here, PCIe at 100,000, 110,000, and 120,000. Looks like the both CSI connectors come through this PCIe interface, this same PCIe interface. Okay, so let's go into that directory, PCIe at 120,000, and here we see RP1, and that's why I think RP1 stands for PCIe root port. RP stands for root port. That's and root port 1. So if we go to RP1, so far so good, right? We've been able to traverse this much of the name. We're at the RP1 directory. If I list that, we see a lot of devices are attached to this root port 1 on that PCIe interface. And I think if we do sudo ls PCI, well, no, I guess not. I guess we don't see anything there. There's okay. So let me just go based on what I can guess. So let's see. What is this? The next part of the name is an I2C device. So that, as you see, there's a bunch of I2C buses that are sitting on off of this root port up to here. So and we're looking at this part of the name, so it's 8004/dev video 0, 80,000. So that would be this I2C device. And so let's go into that directory, cd I2C at 80,000. Right? Yep. And if we look at this, you will see that there is a IMX 708 at 1A folder, and that's the name of this directory. So apparently there's another device attached, but here on this I2C bus, that's where the control interface for the camera sensor is. And so, and it's IMX708 at 1A. So let's see. I like IMX. And that's just, if we go into that, 708 1A, and if we make this a little larger, if I do ls, if I do cat name, it says it's an IMX 708. The name is IMX 708. Okay, so okay, so that's that. For the other device, the camera device, which is device /dev video 8, the name from this much of it is the same. Root port, it's all on the same PCIe interface under the same root port 1, except /dev video 8 is on a different I2C bus. And so if we go up, we're at that level, and the I2C bus is I2C 88,000, so CD I2C at 88,000. So what is that? Yeah, I see as IMX219 device on this bus. And that's the camera. There's another device here at address Charlie, and I think this camera is at address 10hex on this I2C bus. So, all right, so that's how what these long names mean. These are leaves. This whole name is a leaf on the /sysfirmware device tree directory. All right, so so why couldn't I find this some other way? So for example, if I go to /sys class video for Linux, where all the camera devices are, I have these video devices, right? And if I were to say cat the name of all the video devices, none of them really show which one is IMX 219A, 219, and which one of them is IMX 708. And both of them appear with the same RP1, CFE, CSI-2, CH0. So there's one instance there, and here's another instance. So from here, it's kind of hard to find, at least I found it hard to find, which of these RP1, CFE, CSI2 channel zeros are which camera. So the way I was able to determine the camera name that I need to. So I know this much is fixed on my system as far as up to here. So the way I was able to determine which camera it is, so that I could formulate the rest of the name, is to go sysfirmware PCIe at 112 PCIe firmware device tree. sorry, device tree, base, axis, and then PCIe 120,000, RP1. Okay, so that much of the name for both cameras is fixed. Both of them are in, have this same part of this path up to here, the same. One of them is on I2C 88,000. The other one is on I2C 80,000. So in order to find out which one is which, I just have to go to, for example, go to 80,000. Sorry, I2C at 80,000 and look at it. And if I look in this directory and I see an IMX708, I know that this I2C bus represents that camera, which happens to be video 0. The name video 0 I know from somewhere else, but it's if I am opening video 0, I need to go to this bus, this I2C bus. Okay, but by going there, I don't know which camera is on that I2C bus. The only way I can look for it, determine that, is to see which camera has a subdirectory there. If I see a subdirectory IMX708, I know that video 0 is the IMX708 or camera module 3. Correspondingly, for the other device, for the other camera, I go to I2C at 88,000. If I'm opening video 8, I go to 88,000 and I look. And if I see an IMX219 there, I know that video 8 is an IMX219, which is a camera module 2. And that's how I can use this kind of, I believe, fixed built-in information about the layout of the Raspberry Pi to find not only find the name that I need to use for the GStreamer pipeline, but also to figure out which camera am I opening, module 3 or module 2. Anyways, I'm not sure if this is useful, but to me it was. I figured I'd do a video, post it out there. I hope it's useful to someone else. But thanks for watching another video. Take care. Bye-bye.